Hey everyone, in this lesson we're going to keep working on our login UI. All right, so we already got this first page done. Next up, we want to make so that when we need to create a new user, we can have our registration view just like this. All right, so pretty similar. We're going to have a label at the top, 4 text fields, and a register button along with an activity indicator. And also a cool thing here is that if we do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, for instance, and then we come down here and we start typing, you'll see that we have these red checks that show up until the passwords match. Okay, so we're going to be working on the code part a little bit later, but we're going to add in those images right now as well. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to drag in a new view controller. And we are here inside of our Artable target and the login storyboard. So with our object library open, I'm going to drag in a view controller, just like that. And start pulling in everything that we need. So we are going to need a label for up at the top. And then we're going to need 4 text fields. So I'm going to drag in and hold Option so that we keep the text field or the object library open. So drop in those 4 right there. And then we're going to need a button. Drop that right there, as well as an activity indicator. Here we go, activity indicator. And we'll put that right down here. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so let's go ahead and change this label to say register. And we'll change the color to be red for this one. And then here we're gonna have our 4 text fields. And along with the button, I'm going to add a height constraint of 40 for all 5 of those elements. And then I'm going to select the register and all 4 text fields and the button, and we're going to embed this in a stack view. There we go. And then with the stack view selected, I'm going to go ahead and constrain it. I'm going to go 20 from the left, 20 from the top, and 20 from the right. We're going to add those 3 constraints. And then with the stack view selected, let's go ahead and change its alignment to be fill. And that's starting to look a little bit better. Change the register text alignment to centered. And then I'm going to go ahead and add that UI image background in right now, just to make so that we can see our elements a little bit better. All right, so, but remember we want it to be behind everything else. I'm going to grab it here in our document outline and take it right up here above the stack view. And then we can go ahead and resize it. Here we go, and then go ahead and give it its constraints. We're going to go 0 from the top, 0 from the left, 0 from the right, and we want to constrain it to the absolute bottoms of the view and change that to 0 and add those 4 constraints. Looks like that didn't quite work, so let me delete that bottom one, and I'll pull it up a little bit, and then try that again. Select the view and change that to 0, and there we go. All right, that looks better. And we're going to go ahead and set the background image, and this is going to be BG right 1. There we go. And you can see that these are slightly different. We have this as the BG left and this as the BG right. This is a split of the same image, so I thought that would look pretty cool. Then we're going to select this and change the content mode to aspect fill. There we go, perfect. And now we can see our text fields much better. All right, so we have the spacing. It's pretty big. So with our stack view selected, come over here to our spacing, and let's change that to 12 to match to match our first one here. And let's go ahead and link these right now. So I'm going to hold Control and drag from our view controller. Actually, I think we can go straight from the button because we aren't going to need to pass any data or anything like that. So with our Create New User button selected, I am going to go ahead and just Control and drag straight over and say Show. All right, that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and style our button here. We're going to change the text color to our off-white and the background to our dark blue. Very good. Change the font to custom and the family to Futura. And we'll change the text to say register. And that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and set our placeholder text for our 4 text fields. This first one, this is going to be for the user name. The next one is for the email. Actually, let's make these lowercase username to match over here. And this is email. Then we have password and confirm, whoops, with it selected, placeholder, and confirm password. There we go. And then we need to change the family, the font family for our register up here, custom, and the family is Futura. All right, very good. Last thing we need to do is get our activity indicator here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit, change the style to large white, and then change the color to our dark blue. I'm gonna just drag that up here a little bit, and we're going to constrain it. Let's go maybe 12 from the bottom of that stack view, and then we will center it vertically in the container. Looks like we got some sort of issue here. Let's go ahead and check out what's going on. Oh, I said center vertically. I meant center it horizontally. There we go. Center it horizontally. Perfect. All right, now our UI is looking real good. The next thing that we need to do is add those check marks on the password and confirm password text fields so we know if our passwords are matching. Oh, that reminds me. We need to change these to be secure text entry so that when we're typing, it'll just come up as those black dots. And we'll change the content type to, I think there's a password, yeah, here, password. And then same thing for the confirm password text field. We'll change the content type to password and set the secure text entry. All right, very good. So now we're gonna need a couple of image views here. So just gonna drag this in right here and we'll shrink it down a little bit. Just move that up here and we're gonna set some constraints on it. The width and height, these are each going to be 30. And we'll go ahead and set the image. We'll start out with the red check. And now we need to align it with the password text fields, okay? So when you are moving something and you want it to be over a stack view, like if I tried to align this and put this here, it would just set it right inside of the stack view in its own new entry, and we don't want that. All right, so I'm gonna say Command Z, get that back out of there. All right, so with this selected, once you start moving, hold Command. Okay, so now you can see that I can place this over it without it going inside of the stack view. And then holding Control and dragging onto the password text field, I can set constraints directly according to this password text field. So I let go and we're going to say center vertically. And then I'm going to Control and drag again. And we want it to be horizontal spacing. And there we go. So now we can check out our size inspector here. And we have leading space. Actually, that's not quite what we want. We want it to be trailing space to password. So I'm going to delete that. Let's zoom in here and try that again. So control drag, and still having a hard time getting that trailing. Here we go, I think. Yep, there we go, trailing. So trailing is going to set to 0. Let's go ahead and bump that out to maybe 8. So that'll be a -8. And I think that looks pretty good. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing on the confirm password. So I'm just going to copy and paste that image, start to drag it, and then hold Command and drop that right there. Okay, so then I'm going to hold Control and drag onto the confirm password text field, say center vertically, and then zoom in again. And sometimes it really depends on the angle that you control and drag that gets you the desired constraints. So try going like I just did with a horizontal and up movement to the right, and that should get you the trailing constraint here. And then we are going to grab that trailing constraint and change that to -8, just like the one above it. All right, so let's see how that looks. Pretty good. I think 8 might be a little bit too much. So let's try -6. Maybe even -4. Yeah, I think that looks better. Change this one as well, -4. And I think that's a little too little now. All right, let's try let's go back to -6. And I'll leave it at that. All right, -6 for both of those. All right, fantastic. Our UI for our register view controller is now complete as well. All right, so in the next lessons, we are going to actually start working in code a little bit. We're going to first install our CocoaPods and then get Firebase set up and linked for our projects. All right, so hope you're excited for that, and I will see you in the next one.